Hi everyone. Now, many of us have been doing a lot of cleaning while we've been home these last few weeks, and I'm going to talk about some of the stuff we often neglect to do. First one being tightening the legs of your dining chairs, and this depends on the structure of your dining chairs. If you have chairs where you had to attach the legs when they were delivered, those are the chairs I'm talking about. Now, the whole motion of sitting and rising from a dining table requires us to push the chair back and forward, and this causes the legs to loosen over time. Now, we are creatures of habit, so we normally sit in the same chair every time. As you see here, I keep the tool to tighten the legs under the bottom of the chair because of how the chair is made. And this chair, the leg is very, very loose. This screw was almost halfway out. So it does pay to sit in other chairs around your table sometime just to check the legs and then go through and tighten them. I have 8 chairs around my table, and 4 of them had 2 or more legs loose, and the other 4 had maybe 1 leg loose. So it's a good idea to do this sometimes. If you don't have a chair with a pocket underneath, you can also tape the tool under the bottom of one so you don't have to go running looking for it when you decide, you find the time to do this chore. The second thing is, since we're looking at chairs, how about the scratches on the chair legs? This is inevitable. I mean, you're vacuuming sometimes, this is how chairs get these scratches. The legs of my chairs are very dark. They're ebony, so I generally use a Sharpie, a black Sharpie, because I've never gotten around to buying a ebony stain pen. And these pens are available in Home Depot or even on Amazon. um, when you have these scratches on your chair, they will make them look a little worn. It means that the furniture has lived, but you also want to maintain a certain look in your home. So, an easy chore to complete. Talking still about scratches, how about fixing scratch marks on your wood flooring? If you have kids or if you have pets, this is another thing that is definitely going to happen, even more so. I generally have a stain marker, the color of my floor on hand, and while this is not a permanent fix, it lasts for a decent amount of time and it's very quick and easy. So you basically just use the marker to fill in the scratch mark, and then you use like a microfiber or say a terry cloth and just rub that over, and you may go over that twice and it should be fine. I'm filming close up, that's why you're still seeing, but once you're standing it's gone. Now, another option is this Restore Finish that I picked up at Home Depot. The spot I'm working on is where when the dog heard the doorbell and she runs down the staircase, she just lands in this spot, so it has been gouged over time. Not my favorite because this has a smell, a strong odor. So you have to use this on a day you can open your windows. It's a little chilly here in the Northeast, so I was just using a small spot to show you how, but that's fairly good too. The other thing that I do is just buy the actual wood stain. I keep a can on hand. You don't have to buy a large can. They have these tiny little cans for like $12, and I just rub that in onto the floor like I would the pen. And once that dries, you give it time to dry. Then I'll go over it with this Revitalize floor renewer. And let me tell you guys, if you have wood floors, you need to get this. This stuff is amazing. So you apply this after you have cleaned your floor and everything, and it lasts for months. You don't have to apply it every time you clean your floor. The last time I applied it to my floor was 3 months ago, and my floor looked almost the same as it did when I first put it on. I highly, highly recommend this. Another chore we often neglect is that of electric cord management, and that is a pet peeve of mine. I just hate to see electric cord just hanging out like this. Oh my God, this would drive me crazy. So it's such an easy fix. All you need is some masking tape. And the whole idea is to just taping it in a position that it can't be seen, and that means taping it on the back of furniture, down the legs. And another thing that I do too is I use extension cords that are close to the color of the floor. So I generally buy brown extension cords, because what I do is I never use plugs that are right out in the open unless I have no choice. So I'll run it on the floor along the baseboard, and look at it. It's such a more elegant look other than having the cord just hanging out. Hello, I'm right here. Now, speaking of, cord management, this is my nightstand, and as you can see, my phone charger and my game charger, it's right out in the open. This is something I hate to see. So I have finally given in and said, I'm just gonna drill a hole in the back of my nightstand and just thread the cord through. So you could buy a charging dock and install it in your nightstand, or you could buy a nightstand with that. They're generally more expensive. And these charging docks are fairly expensive too. I was surprised to see how much they cost. So I'm just going to use a 1/2 inch bit, and I'll just put the hole in and just thread these through fairly easy. I'm leaving the drawer open so I don't drill into the drawer. I just couldn't figure out how to remove the drawer from the nightstand. I just couldn't figure it out. I think it's not removable, which is why after drilling, and I had to scoot over a little bit because there was a metal piece at the side there that I couldn't get past, so I had to make the hole a little bigger. Because I can't get the drawer out, I had to use a wire hanger to kind of pull it through over the drawer to get it out from the back. And you'll see what I'm doing there. Just make a loop, stick it in the hole, then use the wire hanger to pull it through over the drawer. And once I get that in, I just put my tray that I'm going to rest my game and my cell phone on, and I tape the cord onto the tray so it's easily accessible. So right before bed, everything that I need is right there. I don't have to deal with the blue light from my cell phone as well. So it's all good. Didn't cost me a penny. Another thing that I know I often neglect doing is cleaning my dryer vents. And I'm talking the vent outside. And I just happened to be outdoors at that point of my house a few days ago and opened this, and this was sealed shut with lint. And I've heard that this can be a serious fire hazard. So, something we often neglect, cleaning your dryer vent, the one that vent outside. Now, the ones inside, this is something we do very often. Once you're about to do the laundry, you normally check it, or you do it, you clean it after. But you also need to check the receptacle that it sits into. So what I do is I use my vacuum every few weeks or so to vacuum inside there, because your hand can't get in there, and a vacuum nozzle does a really good job of it. Fairly simple and easy. Maintaining your ironing board cover. I also tend to neglect this. And over time, you get those burnt watermarks, and it, even though it's not dirty, it has a really dirty look. And also the ironing board covers are not that padded, which is, I really don't like that. So this is what I learned from my mom. She never used to use the ironing board covers. She would put like 3 towels together, and she would actually sew them onto the ironing board. Now, me being lazy, I generally just pin at the top and the bottom. And why you can't pin in the middle? Because it won't allow the ironing board to open and close. I know it looks a little sloppy, but guess what, guys? You're going to put your ironing board away anyhow. The whole idea is to make sure it's clean, that it doesn't make your clothes, absorb smells. And another thing too, that's just me showing you how it it's easy to open. So you have this plush top to iron on, and your ironing tends to look much better. Another thing is cleaning chandeliers. Now, oftentimes when I clean, it's eye level down. And I know that's bad, guys. Cobwebs, yes, you do that because you can see them. Chandeliers, there's something you probably clean once a year when you're doing your spring cleaning or you're cleaning up for Christmas. I learned this from my sister, cleaning crystal chandeliers with alcohol. This does an amazing job, guys. It's quick, it's very easy, and it does a great job. And you'll see here, compare the one that I just cleaned to the others. Amazing, amazing. Not Doesn't cost you much, doesn't take a lot of time. Quick and easy. This is something that you probably do once every 5 years, shredding old documents. Guys, the longer you wait, is the more work it's going to be. I just went through shredding a bunch of old stuff, and I had stuff dating back to 2005. I mean, that was an all-day job. So, another thing that we don't often do, shredding old documents. So, when was the last time you cleaned your shower head? Probably can't remember. I couldn't either, guys, so don't feel bad. So you know that over time there is that calcium buildup, and sometimes this can get so bad that it affects the flow of the shower head. You can use the CLR, which is what I generally use. You also can use white vinegar, and basically you put it in a plastic bag, and it's usually 1 part CLR. I've never used vinegar, so I can only tell you about CLR to 1 part water in a plastic bag, and then you tie this onto the shower head and let it soak for about a couple of minutes first, and then you check back to see whether you need to do it again. This is it after 2 minutes. So this thing is amazing. Can't soak it too long because it will mess up the color of the shower head, the finish of the shower head rather. But you do see how effective that is. And another is spackling the holes in walls. We are always redecorating and moving our artwork around, and sometimes we end up with several holes in our walls. All you need is some spackling from Home Depot. You don't need to get this one that's so large. You can get it at Dollar Tree. They also have the tools. And it's just simply scooping a little bit out on the end of the tool and just smoothing it onto over the holes. It's that simple, guys. Now, when it dries, you are going to have like a mist. You see that cloudy mist on the wall, so you do have to paint. So if you don't have spare paint, think about this first. So my final chore that I think is often neglected is power washing your house. And I know many of you may think this is a really big deal and it's going to be a lot of work. Actually, it isn't. You can buy the solution in a bottle that allows you to attach your regular garden hose to it, and you simply just spray it on your home, wait a few minutes depending on the instructions, and then rinse it off. They have some that are specifically made for mold, because if you have siding, that's one of the issues we normally have, and they don't cost a lot of money, as you can see. If you get your home professionally done, you could be paying up to $400 depending on the size of your home. So I'm just going to show you how it works. You just put your hose on, see, and it's going to give you the indicator for rinsing and for applying the cleaner. The first flow you'll see is the rinse flow, which goes fairly far. I was surprised how far it went. The second flow is the flow for applying the cleaner. Now, I had an issue with that because it only goes up to 2 levels. If your home is above 3 levels, this one is not going to work well for you in particular. But otherwise, it did a fairly good job. You may have to grab a brush and brush some areas on your own in spite of having these, but they do a fairly good job for what you pay. That's it, guys. Hope this was helpful. Thank you so much for watching. Bye now.